Hello and welcome to your practice. Today we're going to work on reverse engineering half moon pose, which is a pose that is problematic for a lot of people and for good reason. It's hard, it's very challenging. You're asking your standing hip, you're only standing on one leg, and you're asking that leg to be so strong that it can actually control and rotate the pelvis on top of it. That's so hard to do. Our pelvis is the heaviest bone in our body. And so it can cause aches and pains in the hips or the low back. But on the other side, if you learn how to engage through the entire leg and your brain knows how to recruit the effort of these different muscle areas, then not only will it feel great, but it will actually feel like a very needed training tool to ensure that your hips stay really capable over time. I love half moon. Every time I practice it and I get it right in that sweet spot, I feel it for the next couple of days. Like, wow, I turbo boosted the strength of my lower half, and it feels really, really good. So why don't you go ahead and join us? I'm Brenton. If this is your first time with me, I'm here with my smushy, as I call him, Ollie. And he's like, you're calling me smushy right now. So I will be leading my own practice. You'll see that he'll do different variations, and I hope that you seeing the combination of this makes you feel very free at home to make choices that are right for you in the moment. So let's go ahead and get started on our backs. And if you have a yoga block, go ahead and grab that. If you have your yoga block, go ahead and place it between your legs, either the thinnest or the medium way. I like the medium mid-thigh. Ground your feet down to the floor and arms down by the side, and pull your belly button down. Pull your lower front ribs down and lengthen the back of your neck. Take some slow, deep breaths in and out through your nose, nice and low in your belly. Try to have very even, symmetrical breathing here, because when that happens, you can be more certain that you have a good pressure system in your torso. And if you can maintain that throughout practice, you'll know that you're strengthening all of your muscles to support a well-pressurized system. So as you're breathing, try to go nice and low, try to elongate the breath, and try to breathe evenly on your front, your sides, and your back. Now maintain that as you press down with your feet and lift your pelvis up off the ground a few inches for a bridge pose. Make sure that your low back feels long and ground down through your feet. Your block is here so you can begin to feel your inner thighs. What will be helpful for us on this half moon journey is if your brain can map the inside and the outside of your leg. So like you are drawing a Sharpie line from your inner ankle bone all the way up your inner leg, your inner knee, your inner thigh, into your pelvis. And then another Sharpie on your outer ankle bone, up the outer leg, the outer knee, down the thigh, into the pelvis. And see if your brain can actually track those 4 lines throughout our practice today. You want those lines to be evenly drawing out from your pelvis and drawing into your pelvis. And then you can be sure that your pelvis is centered between your legs. And it should feel pretty manageable when you do that. A couple more slow, deep breaths here. The longer we hold it, the more the brain is learning how to recruit and activate all of this area. Take the hips down to the floor, but keep that sense of activation. So the feet are active, you can feel those 4 lines, your butt is active. Let's interlock the hands behind the head with the elbows wrapped in. Pick the head up off the ground, lengthen the back of the neck, and then pull your belly and your ribs down to lift the chest a little bit more. So slow, deep breaths here, soft jaw and tongue and face. Really gripping through the legs. Feel those 4 lines in your legs here. As you feel ready, come back down with the head. Keep your belly pulled in this whole time. Lift your head up off the ground with your hands. Relax it into your hands. Pull your belly and your front ribs down to lift up a little bit more. Keeping the block where it is, keeping your pelvis where it is, can you lengthen the right leg forward? So breathe and hold. Track those 4 lines. Now your legs are doing something different, so it's more complex. You don't want to twist in the pelvis or the ribs here. Really hold strong. Take the right foot down. Release the head and neck. This is your time to really let go of any excess tension that you might have built up in your face, your jaw, or your breath. Get yourself prepared to come on up off the shoulder blades again. Head nice and soft into the hands. If you feel ready, lengthen your left leg forward. And work on feeling the position and letting your brain trace and map where the left leg is, where the right leg is. Really pulling down at the belly. Taking the left foot down to the ground. Come all the way down. Okay, we have one more to do on each side, so get yourself prepared for that. Breathe nice and slow and steady. Come on up off the shoulder blades when you're ready. Option to lengthen the right leg. And this time you can roll the right toes open, roll them into the left leg. Roll them open and in, and try to just move the leg, nothing else. You need your legs to be really strong, self-sufficient. That's when half moon will feel great. Take the right foot down, release and relax. You're doing it. Good job. If you ever get pent up, you can always breathe out through your mouth, and then you try to return to easy breathing in and out through your nose. It's our last time. You can do it. Come on up off the shoulder blades, head into the hands. Left leg lengthens. Option to start rolling the thigh in the socket. Really keep letting the head go so the back of the neck is not in use. Breathe. Return the left foot to the ground. You did it. Good job. Head down. Releasing the block from the legs. Pulling the knees in. And rolling around a little bit here. Maybe even rolling the knees around, lubricating the hips a little bit. Next stop on our list of places to go is Dolphin Pose. So come on up in your very own time, and you can do anything that feels good in with the way of forward folds, other movements. As you're ready, settle the elbows down, close together under the shoulders. Hands are wide or clasped together based on what feels best to you. As you're ready, shift up off the knees, relax through the head and neck. Really grip the arms, the chest, the armpits, and shoulder blades. If your body's ready for it, lift the right foot up off the ground, maybe stretch it back. Keep the pelvis centered. And then maybe do the same thing with the leg, rolling it in and out like a corkscrew. And taking the right leg down in your own time. Really get strong in your dolphin so you can send the left leg back. Stay strong in your dolphin as you move the left leg. Left foot down to the ground. Good job, my friend. Knees down to the ground. You did it. Come on up to the hands if it feels good to do some cat-cows or shift around over your wrists. That might feel very nice. However you like to transition up to the top of the mat, step the feet all the way up and slowly come up to stand. Set your feet as they're comfortable. Feel the lining of your legs. Draw up the legs into the pelvis. Maybe even wag the knees a little bit here and feel those lines that we drew on the inseam and the outseam of the leg. Now set the pelvis so that those lines are drawing evenly up into the pelvis and down to the floor. That is a centered pelvis. From here, keep that as you lengthen the arms up to the sky. You'd be surprised how your legs want to wibble and wobble there. Taking the arms all the way down, hold strong around that hip circumference as you reach the arms back up to the sky. Let's do that a couple more times, each time intending more length for your spine and your ribs. And that gives you more space to breathe, your lungs become bigger. More open chest, head pulling up and back, really getting long. As we feel ready, hands onto the hips, soften a bend into the knees, and hinge forward over the legs. Feel those four lines there. Man, mine are wibbling and wobbling all over the place. Hands down, bend the knees, step the left foot back and tap the knee down. Roll yourself on up to a low lunge where your left sitting bone, where is that? Bottom of the pelvis is right up over your left knee. And use muscles of the left leg to strap the leg up into the hips. Option reaching the arms all the way up to the sky. Feel your front ribs pull into your body. That'll deepen the stretch on the front of the left hip. From here, we're going to take the hands down to the floor, still hold the legs into the pelvis. Pivot the left foot open to the side, and then come on up like you're in a little warrior two. You like to do it this way. That's fine. Okay, so pay attention to your left hip here. Get the sitting bone right up over the knee. And feel your frontal hip bones. Feel all four lines on the legs extend from the pelvis out. Option to open the arms up to warrior two. Hold your front ribs in, hold your belly in, but stretch open through the chest. Maybe reach the left arm up to the sky. Really hold strong in the right glute. This is actually the hip position for half moon here. So you want to feel muscles holding the bones in the position. Okay, tip the left hand down. This is where you might want to re-pivot on the mat. And so with the left arm down, option to lift the right leg up for a modified side plank. So really now use your bottom hip to press the left sitting bone up over the knee. And you're going to feel this right leg, it is in half moon. Okay, take the right foot down to the floor. Where we're going is we're going to turn to face the back of the mat in a one-legged downward facing dog. So with the left leg lifting up. So the knee is unburdened now. Now, from here, we want to feel that right butt. The right butt is going to be the prime mover as we start to lift the left hip to more towards a stacking position. Your left leg can be bent, it can be straight, whatever feels good to you. Then turn your pelvis to face the floor again. And use your right butt to grip the pelvis and start to turn it, lifting the left hip on top of the right. Turn the left hip bone to face the floor one more time. Pivoting open, keep the side waist evenly long. This time, take the left knee into the belly. Take the shoulders forward, step the left foot down to the floor. It's good. And now from here, we're gonna go to half moon's cousin, standing split. So walk your hands forward to the floor or to something higher like your block or an ottoman. Lift the right leg. Bend your standing leg. So that's gonna get it strong. It's gonna get it connected to its strength. So it's bent and you feel the inseam and the outseam of that left leg. So neither one of them is overburdened. They're working evenly. Pull the right knee into the belly and press it back. And moving this right leg around is going to force your standing leg to find a really strong position. This is how strong the standing leg wants to feel in half moon. This next time as you bring the knee in, step the foot down and a couple of deep congratulatory breaths. Bend into your knees, scoop your tailbone, slowly roll yourself up to stand. Reach the arms wide and high. Feel your legs and your pelvis. Hands down. One more time, we'll reach the arms all the way up. As we feel ready, tipping forward over the hips. Bend into the knees. This time, what did we do last time? We stepped the left foot back. Step the right foot back. Yes, this is correct, I think. Come on up to low lunge. Is this right? I still don't know. Right sitting bone up over the right knee. And the pelvis can get cockeyed here. So we've got to try to get it out of its cockeyed position. And then we get the legs strong into the hips. Option, arms lift up. So really intend on opening the chest, lifting up through the head while still grounding the front ribs in. Good job. Take the hands forward. Pivot, open the right knee, and come on up to a modified warrior two. So getting the right sitting bone up over the right knee, option to flutter the arms open, but keeping everything contained, your front ribs contained, your belly contained. This is good. And feel like you are in half moon right now, you just aren't balanced on this left foot. So use your leg muscles to hold strong into your hips. This time we're going to take the right hand down to the floor and lift the left leg up for a modified side plank. Try to really use the right buttock. It can get sleepy, so if yours is asleep, put your hand back there. Try to get it to turn on, lifting forward. Good job. We're going to frame the floor with the hands and lift the right leg up to the sky, one-legged downward facing dog. So first negotiate a standing position that you want to commit to. And now get your brain into your left buttock. It's going to grip to start to turn the pelvis open, lifting the right side more towards a stacking position. Rotate the pelvis towards the ground. Do this 2 more times, really trying to recruit the left buttock. Good job. As we feel ready, right knee into the belly, shift the shoulders forward, right foot taps down to the floor. We stretch the hands forward towards the floor, something higher, and lift the left leg off the ground for standing splits. We try to bend the right knee and work it evenly, so we don't want to lean on our bone structures. Feel if you're in any subtle way leaning off to the right here. Get the right sitting bone right up over that right ankle. Work your leg evenly from the inside to the outside. Bend the left knee into the belly and press back a few times. So you're negotiating that strength in the standing leg. Take the left foot underneath the body. You did it. Deep breaths. Bend the knees, scoop the tailbone, and slowly in your own time, come all the way on up. Taking the hands down in front of the chest. Good job.
We got the right side too. The correct side.
We did? Okay, good. I don't know if I would be able to discern that. Okay, so let's go ahead and find a place to work where maybe you have a chair nearby, maybe you have a counter, but it's something that you can hold on to that keeps you higher, because then I think you'll have a little bit more stability. You'll be able to feel what's supposed to happen. So let's go ahead. We're going to start with some of the turning of the pelvis and the strength of the leg. So take your left foot forward and then grab onto your chair. Or if you have a wall or a counter, it's in front of you. Now, from here, let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's start turning forward, because I think this is the position that is the most accessible. So your hip bones are lining up with your center knee and your second toe, both legs. And now position your torso so that it's nice and secure. You have like core stability. Now balance on your front leg, lifting the back leg up. But don't let anything fall on the front of your body. All of that is trying to hug up. Yeah, you can do it that way, for sure. And now we're gonna do bend into the right knee, I suppose. This will probably feel good for a lot of us. And you wanna hold the leg into the hip socket strong here. But you're using your left hip, like we just did in down dog, to rotate the pelvis open. Sometimes we call these music box turns. Then we're going to gently, slowly face the pelvis back down to the floor. Use the left buttock to rotate the pelvis open. Ooh, maybe there's a little popping here. We're going to do this a couple more times. Try to create space in your joints so your pelvis is not falling, it's controlled lifting. Try to feel the inseam and the outseam of the left leg. And now hold it open here. Option to float the right arm up. As we feel ready, hand down. We're going to step the right foot back. Holy smokes, I feel that left buttock like crazy. Turn the right toes open so you're in warrior two stance, but bend both knees. So your pelvis is hunkering down. And the direction your toes are pointing, not super important, but you want to feel knees over second toes where the inner thighs feel like they're stretching apart. You don't want to feel like your inner thighs are collapsing in this position. Hands onto the hips. Feel your whole torso get nice and secure as you push left and right. This whole time your inner thighs are stretching away from each other. Maybe that seems a little bit weird or different than what you normally do, but the whole time, both of them stretching away. Let's lift onto the ball of the right foot, step forward, shake it out. Could you feel that in your bottom? Your bottom doing the work? Okay. If your bottom isn't doing the work, then your low back will. I've actually pulled my low back doing it like that. So we want to figure out how to get the bottom to do the work. Same thing, we're going to reach forward, grab onto something secure. You're hinging, so the whole spine is nice and neutral. As you lift the left foot, I'm going to feel like I'm sort of scraping gum off my shoe as I lift it up. That's going to keep some tension in the leg. But now I need to renegotiate because everything wobbled and tip-topped. So getting the pelvis organized, the standing right leg organized. Oh, I can feel I'm like leaning off to the right. So I don't want that. Now bending into the left knee so that there's less to worry about there. Squeeze into the hip on that side. Use your right bottom to open the pelvis. And then slowly turn it back to face the chair. So your chest can face the chair the entire time. Really focus on getting that right bottom to squeeze, grip, and rotate. Keeping the inner thigh long, so you're not collapsing on that inner knee, the inner knee lifting up away from that ankle. Option to hold, option to reach the left arm up, a little bit more. Then taking the left foot back, landing it, take a break if you need. Warrior two in the legs. So roughly the right toes forward, roughly the left toes to the long edge of the mat. But it could really be any angle as long as the knees feel okay. Trade from the left to the right. Feel your inner legs lengthening away from each other. You feel all four lines of energy through the legs. Good job. Lift up onto the ball of your left foot, stretch the back foot in, shake it out. Can we do one that's a for real half moon? Okay, we're gonna go to the for real half moon and we're gonna enter it from her cousin, the standing split. So let's come forward and you can decide if it's helpful to have your hands up or down on the ground. When you feel ready, we'll lift. Let's start with the right foot stepping back so that we're in a runner's stretch. So all 10 toes facing forward, pelvis evenly set between your legs and your armpits, maybe some pulsing up and down, forward and backward. Just getting some pliability in that tissue. Okay, especially feel that front leg, the inseam and the outseam as you rock forward and back. That's all tracking evenly. Now lifting forward, keep a bend in the front knee, but lift the setting bone up over the heel and lift the right toes off the ground a few inches. So it's modest. Breathe steady here. And now see if you can feel the inner left knee still lifting, not leaning over to the left, but the left buttock really gripping to open the right hip. If that feels manageable, maybe reaching the right arm up to the sky. As we feel ready from here, taking the right hand down to the floor, bending the right knee, stepping it underneath the body, deep sigh of relief. Bend into the knees, slowly roll your way all the way up. Reaching the arms all the way up to the sky. Soften the hands. Take a few deep breaths way down deep into your belly. Reaching the arms all the way up to the sky, hinging forward at the hips. This time, stepping the left foot back into a runner's stretch. So all 10 toes forward, back heel lifted. A little pulsing forward and backward, feeling all 4 of those imaginary Sharpie lines we drew on the legs at the beginning of our practice. There's going to be these slight tendencies for this front leg to rotate in and out. You're going to feel that at your knee. You're going to feel that up at your hip. And we need to resist that rotation of the standing leg so that the right knee is facing forward over the right toes as we lift forward, hands forward. Keep a bend in that right leg as you lift the left foot up a little bit. And so feeling that strong right leg, get connected to that first as you grip the buttock and maybe float the left hip on top of the right. If it feels manageable, the answer could be yes, it could be no. Reaching the left arm up. We're not swinging or leaning on that right side. It's super strong, lifting up over the heel. Take the left hand down, face the ground, bring the left foot underneath the body, and breathe. You did it. And using this area, now your brain is more confident. You might find that stretching the area becomes a little bit easier because the brain has more trust in its capabilities. Ground down through the feet, scoop the tailbone, slowly come all the way up to stand. Reach the arms wide and high when you get there. Feel your legs and your hips. Mine are a little bit shaky. Hands down. Good job. All right, let's come down and stretch. So when you come down here, maybe a seated forward fold would feel nice for you. Maybe even the wide-legged version. But let this be a very individual experience. So feel free to change it up and do something else that feels right. Whatever you choose to do here, take this time to feel your hips. And if you're disconnected from feeling your hips, then move your bones around a little bit because that'll help the brain find its way into those areas. And feel that your hips want to be strong as much as they want to be open. They are built for stability. So they actually like to be very, very stable. Stable means control. So we built a lot of control today. When you're ready, let's come on down to our back. You can bring the knees into the belly and roll around on your sacrum, trying to figure out where it is. Like you could trace a perimeter around its bones. It's a triangular fusion of low back bones. Usually it's 5 in most people, but some people have more and some have less. And it's right in between your back dimples. And then center the weight in the low back on the sacrum. That's a very stable place to be. And keep the weight centered there as you butterfly the knees in and out, moving at the hips. Really focus on holding your low back and your pelvis still so that this really becomes movement that the hips take and your back can learn how to be out of that picture. If it feels good for you to move this into a happy baby or a twist, you might like to do that. And it's here right before Shavasana that I'd like to take a moment to truly reach out and thank all of our donors. Our donors are just people like you, maybe you're one of them, in which case thank you so much, who help make this content available for free to everybody who needs it. So if you are enjoying this content and you'd like to donate, please head over to yogainyourlivingroom.com and there's a donation page there. It should be pretty obvious. And thank you if that is something you are considering doing or have done. As you feel ready, come on into Shavasana, playing out the limbs, settling the breath so it's a little bit more gentle, but it's still in and out through the nose, with the back of the neck very long. Slowly turn your head to the left. Keep your chin tucked into your throat and feel how the base of your spine, your tailbone, rides all the way up and connects into the neck. Imagine that your tailbone got tugged on towards your feet a couple of inches. Keeping the chin tucked into the throat, turn the head over to the right. Relax the left shoulder and the left armpit. Keep the belly pulling down. And again, a feeling of a gentle tug of the tailbone away from the ear. Center the weight on the back of the skull. And gently rock it to the left and the right a little bit. Start to roll in the legs. Waking up the fingers. Perhaps even snow angeling the arms overhead. It can be very therapeutic for your respiratory system to hum on the exhales with your lips closed. So if you feel called to do that, maybe the next few rounds of breath, just a gentle hum on the exhale. Gently stepping the feet close into the pelvis, rocking the knees to the left and to the right a little bit. Follow through on one of the rocks until you're in a supported fetal position. Use the support of your hand to press up to a comfortable seat. Half moon, like many of the shapes in yoga, is very complex. And sometimes it seems like it should come easier than it seems to come, or it should be more simple than it ends up feeling like when we're trying to learn it. But that is just what it is to learn something new. And our hips will be very grateful if we put in this effort. They really want to be stable. They really want to have control over those bones. And that pelvis, huge bone, means we need to have a lot of control there. So I hope your hips feel fantastic. When your hips start to feel better, if you are a knee person, a foot person, a low back person, heck, even a shoulder person, you may find that you have positive impacts along the whole chain. So that's really my hope for you, is that you're finding a little bit in each of these classes every week that helps you move better and ultimately live better and enjoy your time here on this planet. Thanks so much for joining. Have a wonderful day.